Hi, what an eventful morning. I have a big story to tell you all. I told you, as you all know, I'm in London, and I was asking my brother in law here that I log on and exactly at 10:15 and tell you all stories. But you know what happened? Just before logging on, I just asked him, is there a possibility of a power shutdown here like we used to have sudden power cuts in India? He said, no, it doesn't happen at all. Maybe once in a year for 10 minutes is what we get. And the moment I go online and say a few words to you, pat, the power goes off. And then they get a message, and then they see the message that they had got in their phones saying that there would be a power cut for 1 hour in their area, which is why I'm live again today now. And I think I'll never remember, I mean, I'll never forget this incident. Something nice. Sometimes we try and do things the way we want to, but the nature has its own way of making it happen when it really needs to make it happen. That's what I think has happened to me now today. But however, Dandanaka Series episode 2 is live, and you're watching me, Lavanya Prasad, storyteller, professional storyteller from Tailscope. So we have some new subscribers in the last few weeks. So a very big hi to you all, and thanks for subscribing to our YouTube channel. Like you all know, this Dandanaka series, this May, we were planning to have MayBe stories. Now, when I say maybe stories, what do they mean? It means the ones with endings that leaves the reader or the listener guessing what could have happened. What a nice way to end the story, right? Some people don't like these type of endings. They just want a very happy ending. And but I always feel the ambiguous endings, the maybe endings or the cliffhangers are very, very interesting, which is why I'm here to tell you one story. And the second story was thing which was recommended by a friend here in London, and I think that is also a very lovely story that you should all go and look up. I'll tell you why I'm telling you look up. Okay, so the first story is a story that I really, really like. I really, really enjoy telling also. I think it is a Korean folk tale. I'm not sure. I'll tell you, I mean, I'll find that and let you all know later. But this is how the story goes. In a very beautiful village lived an old couple. The old couple were childless. Right from they got married, they were hoping and yearning to have children. But God didn't have any plans for children for them then. They grew old, sometimes a little sad because they could not have a child of their own. But all the love that they would have given for their own child, they gave it to the little birds and the animals that came running to the garden which they had. A very beautiful garden where they had so many things. They grew plants, they grew fruits, and they attended to each and every plant like their own child. The birds that they came were their children too. The animals that came looking for food were their children too. Such generous big hearts they had. Every morning, there would be this particular bird that came in and chirped, and the lady would come running with a bowl of grain for the little bird. Every day for years. Who knows? Maybe that bird died, and then came her daughter or her son to the same little house where the grandma and the grandpa lived, knowing that they would definitely get that bowl of grain for them. But one day, there was this bird which came in and did not eat the grain. Grandma was a little curious. She took the bowl and went near and said, why don't you have a peck? It's going to be really good. But the bird just hopped back. Aren't you feeling well, my dear? Is something not okay with you? she asked with honest concern. The grandpa came in and looked at the bird. The bird did not fly away, but the bird seemed to hop away from them. They followed the bird, and in a few moments she flew up high, and they were looking and waiting. But the bird sat on the branch that was nearby and looked back at the grandma and grandpa. It was as if the bird was calling them somewhere. The grandpa said, "You wait here. Let me go and see what she or he wants to show us." And he followed the little bird. The bird flew and waited, turned back to see if the grandpa was following. Yes, he was. And after a few while, they reached somewhere in the forest, and to his utter surprise, the grandpa saw that there was a little nice little pond there with crystal clear water. He had been living in this neighborhood for years, and he never knew that there was such a pond that was there. How did it come here? And the bird just hopped near the pond, took a sip of water, and turned back to look at the grandpa. The grandpa was thinking, is the bird asking me to take a sip from that pond too? Maybe, but the clear water was indeed very, very welcoming. He went inside. He dipped his hand in the pond, took the clear water, and drank a sip. He has never tasted water like that before. Something was very different. Something was very nice. Something happened inside his body. Maybe I should have another sip, he said, and but when he did the second sip, he noticed something. The wrinkles in his palm were gone. What? How, how could this happen? What's happening to me? And he just peeped into the pond to see his reflection, and he was the man that he was 40 years ago. He had become young. The youth had returned to him, and the bluebird looked at him, tweeted, and flew away. He never knew what was happening to me, him. Indeed, it was a great day, a great experience, and he ran back to tell this to his wife. He ran back. He had all the energy now, and he knocked on the door. "Open the door, my dear, my dear, my dear, open the door for me." The grandma opened the door, looked at him, and said, "What? What has happened to my eyes? Am I seeing, am I seeing my love? Am I seeing the man that I saw 40 years ago? But where is my husband? Is there something strange happening in this world? Are you a magician?" She was not ready to believe until Grandpa, who was now a young, handsome man, looked at Grandma and said, "Not at all, my dear. I'm your same love that you saw me 40 years ago. And this I had to tell you because I'm here to take you to that pond that the little bird took me to. I think the bird was trying to give us something in return. I don't know what it is, but you should come with me too." And he took the grandma to the nice little clear still pond. She took a sip, turned back and said, "I've never tasted water like this before. Take another sip," said the man. And then the grandpa said, not the grandpa, but the young man said, "Now you, my dear, look the very same that I saw you 40 years ago." She looked into her reflection and Where did it go? We have reversed in age. What has happened to us? And they were very, very happy and they went back home. But, like in all stories, if there were people who were very good at heart, there were also people who were not so good at heart. They did have somebody a little further away from them who was very, very jealous of this grandma and grandpa because they were never able to make the garden, or should I say, he was never able to make the garden so wonderful like what the grandpa and the grandma used to do. He was always jealous of all the birds and the animals that came to eat grains from them. And every time he got a chance, he ridiculed them by telling that they were childless. He did not have any family. The man who was staying right next to the grandma and the grandpa's house. This time, he was a little concerned, or should I say curious? He just peeped out to see what is happening to them. I don't see them here. They never walk out of their house, they never step out of their house. Even the groceries, I'm the one who helped them. What has happened to them? He was indeed curious, and that is when the young lady and the handsome man walked down and said, "Hello there, how have you been?" And he looked at them and said, "We've never seen you here, but you definitely look like the grandpa a lot. You must be a relative." They said, "No, I am the grandpa that used to live in this house, and she is the grandma who used to live here. But we have reversed an age and we've got our younger days back. Now, this was not okay. He did not want this to happen. How can they do? What can he tell them now? The jealousy in him burned. And he looked at the grandpa, now the young man, and said, oh, look at that. I'm so happy to see you all having great fun. The reversing of age, and look at how handsome and how lovely you both look. I'm sure you would be very willingly sharing the secret with me too. The people that they were, the good at heart, golden heart people that they were, they immediately told the secret to him. They said, right from here, walk in the direction and you will find a clear pond with, a pond with clear still water. Drink the water and you will get back the age that you want to go to. So that is it. I definitely will be back, he said, and ran in the direction. Afternoon, evening, and then the moon came up to the sky. But the man was not back. The grandma, now the young lady, was genuinely concerned. She said, "Shall we go and see what has happened to him? I'm a little worried." And they went back to the place where the pond was. They saw the man's coat lying there. His coat is here. What do you think could have happened to him? Oh my God. Where do we go and look? Has something happened to him? But at the same time, just from inside the coat, they heard the sound of a little baby. They looked at the baby, and all they could think was, it is indeed God's gift to them. And they took the baby and went back home very, very happily. That is where the story ends. And now, is this a maybe story? Of course it is. And I'm going to leave it to you to decide what could have happened to the curious neighbor who went to drink water in the pond. If you think you know the answer, we will be really, really happy to hear them from you. why don't you just write to us in the comments section? It would be really lovely to hear from you all. So that is the story that I wanted to share with you all today. Whew, finally, I did my live series. I don't know, there were so many, what do I say, hurdles. I had to change the timing, and then there was the power cut. But then I know that this definitely will happen, and it did. I'm very, 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 very happy for that. I have a second story for you, and now that story is such a beautiful story. It's called The Blue Bird, written by, not written by Bob Stake. It is a picture book. Okay. Bob Stake is the author as well as the illustrator for the story. And now I did not see the book, but it was a request that was made by a friend here in London. So I read it. And this is what the story is about. A little young boy is being bullied in school. He's very upset. The teacher is oblivious of what is happening to him in the class. But all the joy from him is just gone. He's sad. But there is somebody who's watching all this, and that is a little blue bird sitting right outside the classroom and watching the boy. The boy walks back home very, very sad. And the little blue bird follows him, flies behind him. The boy did not notice the bluebird initially, but then slowly they start to play, fly, and seek. Wherever he goes, the bluebird follows. The boy notices the bluebird and he tries to hide. And the bird comes and finds him. And there is this nice friendship which develops between the little bluebird and the boy. Wherever the boy goes, the bird goes behind. And the bird even gives him a chance to make new friends, plays, looks the boy playing with other friends, goes and sits on his shoulder, and he comforts, gives the boy, gives the boy the assurance that he can be happy too. But when the boy is trying to go back home, he sees the bullies coming to him again, and there is an argument that happens. And the bullies take a stick and they try to throw it at the boy when the bluebird comes in between and gets hit by the stick and falls down. The boys run away, but the little boy who had befriended this bluebird looks at the bluebird and cries. He takes the bluebird in his hands, looks at the little bluebird, still. But something happens. I don't know if it is the wind that carries the boy back home along with the bluebird. And then he sees the bluebird come to life and go to the clouds. And that's where the story ends. Now, it is up to the readers to understand what could have happened to the bluebird and who is the bluebird after all. Now, I really wanted to get the book, see the book, and then tell you the story, but I really didn't have time to do all that. But I really loved the story. It is a picture book, and if you happen to get a chance to um, take a book and I think it'll be lovely if you could read the book to your child. I think it has got a very powerful story. I did a little research online, and it says that Bob Stake took 10 years to make this book. And I think it's a very little lovely book, a very emotional story, which almost every child could relate to. So, this is another maybe story that we wanted to share with you all today in the Dandanaka series. So, I hope you would have enjoyed the two stories that we told to you today. And please, 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 what may be happened in your head after you listen to these two stories? So, whatever you think was the ending, or whatever you think had happened to that neighbor and the bluebird, who was the bluebird? Or what happened to the bluebird? Did the bluebird die after all? Or what happened to the neighbor? And who was the little kid? How did they get the kid? Was it a gift from the bird to the old couple? Now, that is the maybe in the story. So please do write to us what that maybe is telling you inside your head, and we'll be really, really happy. Come on, guys. When you listen to stories like this, we need some encouragement to write to us, and it'll be lovely if you could join us in our next Dandanaka series. But before that, we have next Saturday, we have our Endra Andra Kada in Tamil happening, and I'll be back in Bangalore. And you know the theme for Endra Andra Kada too. It is riddle stories this time. So look for riddle stories and write to us, and we will tell the stories live. 7 p.m. IST for sure. But this time we had to go a little here and there with the timings. I'm very, very sorry about all that. But thank you so much, and hoping to see you all soon. Bye bye. It is nice morning in London, and I'm heading off to the beach. Ta ta!